There are things that a woman will never forget. Not your money, not your abs, not even your performance. It's the way you made her feel. And for most men, that's where it all goes wrong. 'Cause you're doing the most physically, but leaving her starving. Emotionally, you're pounding but not connecting. You're innate but emotionally absent. And she feels it. She goes silent, starts pulling away. You can't explain it, but she feels alone. Even while your body is right next to hers, let me be real with you. There's a reason women cry after sex with certain men. And it's not just lisks, it's because those men awaken something deeper inside her. Something most of you are too distracted or too numb to access. You want to be unforgettable in the bedroom. Stop thinking with your ego and start speaking to her nervous system, to her soul. 'Cause the truth is, men who know how to touch a woman's heart, not just her body, are the ones she dreams of for years. If you've ever been ghosted, if she ever suddenly lost feelings, if you're tired of being almost good now, then this video is the most honest conversation you'll ever hear. Let's talk about what really makes a man memorable in the bedroom, and why some of you are sleeping with women, but they're still emotionally untouched. Presence is the greatest APH road SIAC, and I don't just mean being physically. I mean being emotionally present, fully tuned in, fully with her, because what a lot of men don't understand. Women don't just want your booty. They want your attention, your energy, your focus. When she's with you, lesson 1, presence is the greatest aphrodisiac in the bedroom. She's not just asking, do you desire me? She's asking, do you see me? And most of that time, the answer is no. You're too caught up in your head. 2. Focused on performance, on whether you're doing it right, on how long you can last. And in the process, you disappear. You leave her there physically with you but emotionally abandoned. She can feel when your touch is hollow, when your mind is else, when you're chasing validation instead of connection. And no matter how good you think you are, if you are not present, she won't feel safe. She won't feel held. She won't open see. A woman's body responds to presence the way flowers respond to sunlight. She opens when she feels your energy entered. She blooms when your touch isn't rushed. When your breath matches. When your eyes say, I'm here with you. I'm not trying to escape. I'm not performing. I'm connecting. That's the kind of man she remembers. The one who slowed down. The one who didn't need to prove anything. The one who was just there. You don't need perfect technique. You don't need to be loud. You don't need a playbook. What you need is the courage to be still toasty in the moment, to let her body guide you instead of trying to lead. And that takes emotional maturity. It takes self-control. It takes a level of presence that most men never develop because they're too scared to sit in that kind of intimacy. But when you do, when you stop rushing, when you breathe with her, when you're to every little sound, every subtle reaction, every heartbeat, that's when she feels something she's never felt before. Safe surrender. And that's what every woman secretly wants. Not just a man who can touch her body, but a man who's so present she forgets the world exists outside that room. That is the man she craves. That's the man she'll never forget. She feels yours more than your words. And that is part most men never understand. You're so focused on saying the right thing, impressing her with your lines, your voice, your so-called game, that you miss the one thing that actually speaks loudest, your energy when you say nothing at all. Your silence is not just empty space, it's a message. And depending on how you carry it, that message can either build trust or quietly destroy it. There's a silency that feels safe. The kind where she can into your chest and no she doesn't need to explain herself. That kind of silence is healing. It's intimate, it's rare. But there's also that kind of silence that feels like distance, like rejection, like being emotionally abandoned while your body is still there. And that's the silence most lesson too. She feels your silence more than your words. Women get from men in the bedroom. Ya think it doesn't matter. You think, I already said, I like her, or Sheshold, know how I feel. But women don't listen to your declarations as much as they tune into your presence. And when you go quiet after she shares something when you don't check in after, when you leave her emotionally hanging, that silence turns into doubt, into shame, into confusion. It's the kind of silence that makes her question if she's lovable, or if she's just being used, because silence to a woman is never just absence. It's data, it's a signal. It's the space where her mind starts to fill in the blanks. And trust men, when you don't give her reassurance, she will write her own painful story. And that's silence. And once that happens, you've lost her. The most emotionally powerful men are not the loudest, they're not the smoothest. They're the ones who are emotionalist passbones. The ones who say, I heard you. The ones who can sit in the quiet and still be present. The ones who know that a touch on the back, a squeeze-offed hand, a soft breath can say more than 1,000 words ever could. Thinking silence is neutral. It's not. It's either the safest place she's ever felt or the loneliest. And you decide which one it becomes with your attention, your empathy, your presence, even when you're saying nothing at all. Masculinity is not performance, it's permission, and I need you to really let that sink in, because a lot of men have a manhood with domination, with bravado, with the loudest voice in the room or the hardest grip in the bedroom. But true masculinity doesn't need to flex hold space. It invites safety. It gives a woman the permission to be fully, emotionally, vulnerably. You think being a man means taking control. And, yes, leadership is beautiful when it's rooted in love, but when your control is coming from ego, when it's about proving something or avoiding your own discomfort, what you end up doing is creating tension, not safety. And women can feel that they might not always have words for it, but their bodies know the difference between a man who leads with strength and one who hides behind it. Let me tell you something. A lot of women are too afraid to say out loud, woo in strong men. But not the kind of strong that silences us. Not the kind that dominates without listening. Wooin's the kind of strength that makes us feel like we can break down in your arms and not be judged. That we can cry and you won't flinch. That we can be soft back house. Your masculinity gives us permission to be. Do you understand how rare that is for a woman? Most of us have had to toughen up just to survive, to protect ourselves. But when a man listens, masculinity is not performance. Its permission shows up with emotional steadiness, when hen doesn't get threatened by our tears, our chaos, our rawness. That's when we can finally let go. That's when intimacy becomes more than just physical. It becomes spiritual. So the next time you are in the bedroom, stop asking yourself, am I doing enough? And start asking, am I creating space for her to all of herself here? That's real masculinity, the kind that doesn't need to perform because it's already grounded, already solid, already whole. When you carry that kind of energy, a woman doesn't just give you her body, she gives you her soul. And that, my dear, is a level of trust most men will reach because they're too busy performing to ever become a safe place. Be the exception. Be the man who gives her permission to be. Eye contact is more powerful than thrusting. And I don't care how good you think you are in bed. If you can't hold her gaze, you're missing the most intimate part of the experience, because eye contact is about looking. It's about seeing and being seen. And that terrifies most men. You want to know why? Because when you look a woman in the eyes, during intimacy, you're exposing something. It's not just her that's vulnerable. It's you. And a lot of men aren't ready for that. So, they look at her body, they close their eyes, they get lost in rhythm, but they avoid her soul because her eyes are where truth lives. Her eyes will show you how deeply she's letting you in or how much she's holding back. And your eyes, they reveal if you're really there for her or just here for the release. A woman knows the difference when a man locks eyes with her, not in a creepy, forceful way, but in a gentle, present, connected way. Urbity responds. Her heart softens. Her trust deepens because now she doesn't feel like a performance. She doesn't feel like a body. She feels like a woman being truly seen. And that's the part she craves. That's the part she religionates. You want to be unforgettable. In the bedroom, don't just learn how to touch her. Learn how to see her. When she's vulnerable, hold her gaze. When she's opening up, look at her like she's sacred, not in a possessive way. Not in a lust-filled fantasy, but in a way that says, I'm here. I see you. I adore you. That kind of eye contact. It does something to a woman's nervous system. It calms the parts of her that have always had to be on guard. It tells her she's safe, desired, chosen. So many men are chasing harder, faster, deeper. But none of that matters if she feels unseen. You can be technically perfect and still emotionally forgettable. Or you can hold her gaze with intention. Lesson 4. Eye contact is more powerful than thrusting with softness, with presence, and she. Never forget how you made her feel. Because when a man sees a woman fully, deeply, and without judgment, that becomes more than sex. It becomes a feeling, and that's the kind of intimacy she craves for the rest of her life. Emotional aftercare is everything. And I wish more men understood that, because what you do after the intimacy matters. It speaks louder than anything that just happened in bed. It tells her whether this was connection or just release. Whether she was treasured or just used. Whether she can trust you with her heart or regret ever letting you touch her body. Too many men think the job is done when the climax hits. They turn over, grab their phone, fall asleep, and she's left lying there, body exposed, heart confused, energy suddenly cold. That's the moment where most women feel the sharpest pain, not during, after, because it's in aftercare that she realizes who you really are. You see, for women, intimacy doesn't stop at the physical act. It lingers emotionally, spiritually. In our bodies, in our nervous systems, we're wired to bond, to feel safe, to feel close, to feel held. And when that doesn't happen, we don't just feel disappointed, we feel rejected. We start asking questions. Did he mean it? Was it just a moment to him? Why do I suddenly feel alone? But the men who truly get it, they know that aftercare is the real foreplay for her heart. It's in the way you pull her closer instead of pulling away. It's in the way you ask, "Are you okay?" or whisper something gentle. It's in the way you keep holding her even when the moment has passed. That's what creates emotional memory. That's what makes a woman feel safe enough to want to be vulnerable with you again. And let me say this clearly, aftercare isn't just physical, it's energetic, it's emotional. It's how you carry her emotions after the experience. Do you go cold or do you stay connected? Do you leave her with silence or with ash? Because a woman will never forget how she felt in your arms after. That's the part she replays in her mind. That's the part that either builds attachment or regret. So if you want to be the kind of man she trusts, if you want to build something that goes beyond lust, you better show up in the aftercare. That's where real emotional connection lives. Not in the climax, but the quiet sacred moments that follow. Moments that say, "I'm still here, I still see you, and I still care." When you connect emotionally, the physical lesson 5, emotional aftercare is everything becomes unforgettable. I know we live in a world that tells men to master positions, timing, tricks. But let me be honest with you, none of that means anything if her heart isn't engaged, because for a woman, real intimacy doesn't begin in her body. It begins in her emotions, in her trust, in how Safesh feels with you, not just in the bedroom, but in her soul. You could be the most skilled lover in the world, but if she feels unseen, untouched on thine side, emotionally neglected, she will never fully open up to you, and you'll notice it too. Her body might respond, but her spirit won't. She go through motions, but she'll be miles away, quiet, distant, numb. And you'll wonder something felt off, even though the very thing seemed right. Because women crave performance. They crave a presence. They crave emotional depth. They crave a man who knows how to hold their heart, not just their waist. A man who listens before he touches, who communicates before he penetrates, who hears her emotionally before he enters her physically. And when that kind of connection is built, oh, it changes everything. Her body stops resisting. Her mind stops racing. Her heart relaxes, and in that sacred space, she doesn't just give herself to you, she melts. She lets go. She opens up parts of herself that she usually hides. Because now you're not just having sex. You're making her feel seen. And that kind of intimacy, it stays with her long after you've left the room. You want to know why some women cry after sex. It's not always because they're sad. Sometimes it's because for the first time they felt safe. Sometimes it's because the connection was so deep her body didn't know how to contain it. That's how powerful emotional alignment is. So stop chasing harder, faster, more. Start slowing down. Start listening. Start connecting. Because 1, the emotional foundation is strong. The physical experience becomes something she'll never forget. Not 'cause you did something wild, but because you did something rare. You made her feel like her body, her emotions, her soul were all welcome, all honored, all safe. And that is the most unforgettable end of intimacy a man can give. Know what breaks my heart? That so many good men are out here doing the most. Providing, protecting, showing up physically, but still being forgotten, not because they weren't attractive. Not lesson 6. Emotional connection makes the physical they didn't perform, but because Athene never touched her emotionally. The thought sink in. You could sleep next to a woman every night and still make her feel alone because you didn't listen. You didn't see her. You didn't stay present after the intimacy. You thought being a man was about doing when she needed you to simply be still, be safe, be emotionally available. Listen to me. If you don't show up emotionally, she will never feel you, no matter how many times you touch her. But when you do, when your energy matches your words, when your silence becomes her safety, when your aftercare becomes her sanctuary, you become the kind of man she compares every other man to for the rest of her life. You want to be unforgettable? Then stop chasing the next big move and start practicing emotional presence. Because it's not what you do with her body. It's how you make her heart feel when you leave their room. That's what she remember. That's what she crave. That's what will make her cry, not from heartbreak, but from healing. Now listen. If this massage spoke to something deep in you, don't scroll past it. Like this video, Toncher, what you just learned, comment below. Tell me what part of this hit you hardest. Share this with a brother who needs to hear this truth. And I peer ready for more raw, emotional, honest conversations about love, intimacy, masculinity, and becoming thickened of man who actually makes a woman feel safe. Then subscribe. Because closing scene, emotional peak plus real CT around here. We're not teaching performance, we're teaching presence. We're not raising boys. We're calling out kings. And the man you're becoming. Yeah, she's praying for him. But first, you need to become him. I'll see you in next video. And remember, she doesn't need a perfect man. She needs a present one.